All right. Good morning and happy Thursday. We are new streaming network, WGSN-DB, going solo network radio. Welcome to your Health Vibes with Elena. I'm your host, Elena, Health, Wellness, Empowerment Coach. And my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And today, our topic is rejecting the brand and embracing my full authentic self. And today, we have my girl, the one, the only, Rocío. Welcome, my queen.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this podcast and I love the title, Your Health Vibes.
Yes.
It's serious, but it's also all about the vibes.
Yes, and that's why I'm all about is the vibes and the energy you give. And I'm so excited for you to be here today. I know about you, but I want the world and my guests to know who you are. Can you tell us a little bit about you and your story?
Oh my gosh, thank you. Where to begin? I should have prepared. Oh my gosh. No. Yes. Like, wait, what am I doing right now? Let me get my cafecito. So I'm Rocío López. Thank you for that awesome introduction. I'm actress, singer, writer, producer, educator. I'm just so many things. And I think, I've been all over the place, and for a long time I felt very unfocused, or I've been made to feel unfocused. I'm actually not unfocused. We're going to get into that, but
yes,
I'm realizing now that no, like these are all the things that I am, and it's okay to do all of the things and to constantly be a learner and growing. And I'm finally getting to a place where I'm combining all the things, all the skills that I've been stacking for the past 20 plus years of my career and bringing them all together. So yeah, I'm excited to share. I grew up in a really small town on the Central Coast. If you go on PCH1, you pass this tiny little town called Guadalupe, California.
Ooh.
It's so pretty. It's picturesque. There's no streetlights. If you blink, you miss it. But it's gorgeous. I loved growing up there. But I was always a big city girl stuck in a small town. Like this town was so small. We didn't have a high school. We had to be bussed over to the next town, 45 minutes to go to high school.
Oh, wow.
And so I was always just such a dreamer and wanted to go to LA or go to New York and sing and dance and, be on TV. Like I just loved media. I've always loved entertainment. I've always loved entertaining my family and my friends. I've always loved to make people laugh. And I'm finally getting to do it. I feel like it took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that, like, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to entertain. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
I love that. And maybe we can dig a little deeper. Was there someone that inspired you, or when you were younger, did you just always like sing or do these things? What was inspiring to you to kind of show where you're at today, or maybe, what you want to do with your future?
Yeah, I think, growing up Mexican American and being part of being bilingual and being bicultural, and my hometown was very predominantly Mexican. All my friends, we were all sons and daughters of immigrant farm workers. There's a lot of farmland and agriculture. And so all our parents would get up really early, go work in the fields. And so we were very, very rooted in our Mexican culture, even though we were growing up here in the US.
Right.
And so my dad, he got this, I don't know if you remember from the 90s, this huge antenna that would go on top. It looked like a UFO. It took 5 men just to like push it up there. And my dad became like the go-to antenna installer. So our whole neighborhood, these are like low-income houses, okay, for the farm workers, little tiny houses with this huge UFO on top of it. But that made it possible for us to get the channels from Mexico, because like all of the families, they wanted TV in Spanish. And in the US, it's very limited. There's like 1 channel back in the day, or maybe 2. There was Univision and Telemundo. Actually, there still is, just 2. Not changed. But we got the channels from Mexico, and so we would have access to like the telenovelas and all the Saturday programming, the Siempre en Domingo. Like I just remember watching all the Mexican channels. And so I grew up with all the Mexican pop stars and all the Mexican telenovelas. So that was my entertainment. And I think that's why I just loved it. Like I loved being a ham. I loved being super dramatic. I loved playing with my friends, and I'd be like, you're going to be the good one this time, and I'm going to be the villain, and I'm going to take a man. And I loved reenacting it. It was so silly. Like, wow, I was 8 years old. Some of it was kind of inappropriate. I shouldn't have.
I feel you, like listening to some of the songs and things that we listen to, and then you go back and as an adult and you're like sitting there, I'm rocking out to these songs. You're like, oh my gosh, actually listening to the lyrics, you just heard them and you could do that. But girl, I feel you.
No, I should not have been singing along to this song at 7 years old.
Definitely. And you know what I love is that you were able to be creative. I think with these cell phones and certain things like that, maybe we could talk about what you were really able to tap into your creative side. And even though, you know, with what it is and how that helped you, that we didn't have a cell phone, we didn't have, you know, these, I was like, joke, like back in the day when I got my cell phone in college, you know, it's like crazy. So I don't know.
Like block cell phones, like with no screens. It was just a phone.
Yeah. As big as your face.
Well, I think that was part of the disconnect for me and why it took me so long to finally fully embrace my authentic self.
Yes.
Now, because back then, to be quite honest, you know, going back to who did I have, like who inspired me? My family was very supportive. My dad was really proud that I was artistic, you know, because he loved, like, you know, sing a song. He got a secondhand microphone from like a garage sale, and he's like, I got a microphone, and I'd just be like singing in the living room, and he was really supportive. And my uncles, you know, my dad's brothers, again, they're all farm workers working hard, right? But they had this band that played these like Mexican songs, and they would encourage me and my cousins to like sing along, and that was very nurturing for my artistic side. But being part of this small town, this small community where resources were very limited, we didn't have, like, there was no drama club. There was no, you know, dance school for the arts for the children. There was none of that. And even if there was, maybe there was, but we couldn't afford it. So it was really just all self-taught and, you know, self-doing. Again, we love to shop secondhand. So at another garage sale, my dad got a camcorder, and I just grabbed it. I took a hold of it. I would record my friends and me just acting silly, skateboarding in the backyard. And I think that's where I've always had that love for entertainment, filmmaking. But, you know, it's been a slow journey to finally learn the skills and to finally get trained. I had to kind of become an adult and then train myself on the craft, you know, on the actual like art making.
Yes.
But, so I guess, I got to be proud of it, but I do consider myself a late bloomer when it comes to, you know, acting and writing and producing. I wish I would have had a connect, you know, someone in Hollywood to be like, wow, you got talent, kid. Let me show you the ropes. I wish, but no, we did not have any of that.
But the good thing is you did it on your own and you never gave up. And I think so many times, you know, wish, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but like I feel in reality in the universe, like this is the right time. There's no wrong or right. And I think that's what we kind of discussed yesterday is, you know, really embracing that. So maybe we can dig deeper of having these fears. And, you know, sometimes I call it the itty shitty bitty committee getting in our head, you know, when we're wanting to move forward or we're thinking we're not in the right spot. What are some things maybe you wish you knew or help or people who are going through this that we could dig a little bit deeper and then really get into rejecting what the norm is?
Right. Ooh.
I know so many nuggets all in one, but feel free.
You know, I could only, you know, share, I think what would have been useful to me.
Yeah.
And I think this is, you know, I love my culture. I'm very proud, you know, again, to be bilingual, bicultural. And I also, you know, went into a career with nonprofits and education. So I've worked with a lot of youth, and that's what I've been doing. I've been doing applied theater arts with youth, and I love to uplift them and to empower them to use art as a vehicle for expression. You know, I've worked with youth in the out of home placements, for example. So sometimes we use the arts for rehabilitation, for motivation. So
Yes.
I love it, and I see the value of the arts.
Mhm.
But when I was young, even though it was kind of a contradicting culture when it came to the arts. Like my dad loved it because I think he also is kind of an artist, and my uncles, they just loved, that I sang, that I danced. And then there was also this societal message that I
Mhm.
received that was, no, but you can't do that professionally. Like that's all fun, but
Right.
realistic, you gotta I was one of the lucky ones where I was told at a really young age that I was going to go to college and I was going to go to university. I'm very thankful for that. Um, but it was about, you got to be a professional. And like the only professionals that we knew were like teachers, the only professions that we kind of like know of, a firefighter, a doctor, or a teacher, or a lawyer. Which one of those? And I just remember thinking like, I don't want to really do any of those. Like, how do I wish somebody would have told me you could actually be a teaching artist, or you could be a
Right.
producer, or you could be a creative writer. These are things that are to our reach and
Yes. Yeah.
pursue, right?
Right.
So there was a little bit of it's all fun and games, but then no, like take yourself seriously. On top of the fact that also as a young Mexican girl, I think I remember I was kind of a ham, when I was really, really young. I
I
was
do see that 100%.
I was very loud. I was really dramatic. I loved to dance. I was kind of like a little bossy, I was just like telling my friend, this is what we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do a routine and we're gonna dance. And they were like, okay, sure. And then at a certain age, and I could only share this now because I've discussed it, in my therapy sessions. But the message changed. Like that was cute when you were little,
Right.
but now you have to be humble, and now you have to not be so loud. Now you
Mhm.
have to be like a good little Mexican girl, and you have to know your place. Humility is, and nobody likes a show off, and don't think you're all that. And in Spanish is like, no seas una chocante, no te creas muy, don't, it became too much. And I remember I heard it directly from people. We would go to Mexico every year. We would go to my dad's village. And like, again, like it's kind of like now this like cultural divide, but like people told me like, oh my God, like you're too much. They straight up told me that in Spanish.
Right.
So I sort of got the message like, whoa, like they don't like me when I'm
Your
being,
true
yeah,
authentic self.
yeah. And also think about, I mean, like I was visiting my dad's village, like it was very different. I was growing up over in the US,
Right.
going back, there's different expectations, but I internalized that. So I think unfortunately for a long time, I started kind of dimming myself a little bit. I was a straight A student. I got bullied for being a nerd, for being too smart. These kids, yeah, in sixth
Oh,
grade, I was like 12 years old. They were just they laughed when I would get something wrong, and so I'm like, oh, they don't like it when I'm smart. They don't like it when I'm acting, when I'm shining. So I started dimming myself, unfortunately. So I feel like what I would tell like my younger self
little
in my
girls. Yeah, I wish I tell little one.
is no, we can't have any of that. Like obviously, and I do value so much that I was taught, humility and like being humble and respecting my elders. Like that part I love, but not the dimming part, especially for
Mhm.
young girls. Like we're already conditioned and told that too much. And I definitely internalize that, unfortunately. And that's why I'm finally now in my 40s, finally saying, "No, wait a second. I am all these things. I do love to sing. I do love to dance. I love to act.
Really?
I love to produce. I love to do workshops. I like education and I like entertainment, and I'm finally fusing both of those things and just owning it all because I can't hide it anymore." So yeah, that's what I would tell the younger generation is be all the things, try all the things, be good at it, and people are gonna it's gonna be like own your magnetism. It might be too much for some people, but that's okay. Let them deal with that. You keep being who you are.
And that's what I love about you. And that's what I want to show the world is, shining your light and that you aren't going to dim it. And I think so many times growing up or certain things we're told the right way or be a good girl, be a bad girl. And there's no right or wrong. And being put in these boxes is hard. And I love that you want to not be what everybody else, because it is scary, growing up. Yeah. We think like, oh, if you don't have an 8 to 5 job, if it doesn't look like this and you don't like this, then you're not successful. And that's so not true. So I don't know if we can expand a little bit of more of that, of, just shining that light and saying no to that and not allowing our thoughts to get into us.
Absolutely. I'm kind of going through a renaissance moment, especially in my career right now, because, after college, I went into the nonprofit sector, which I loved. And I was really glad that like the positions that I had were like arts coordinator for the high schools in downtown LA. I was an arts programmer for the kids in out of home placements. So I got to work with a lot of young people doing art. That's how I learned finally how to produce, how to be a filmmaker, because I had to teach it. And I didn't even know it. So I realized I'm like, oh, wow, I have to learn how to do this so I can teach it. And, we did short films with the youth. These were boys that were coming out of the juvenile halls that were placed in these boys camps for like rehabilitation. And they would be catching up on their credits so that they can try to graduate from high school, because they usually would be behind, but they would always fall behind on the arts credit. That was like the last one that nobody prioritized.
Right.
So called me in at one point to develop a whole like arts curriculum for them in theater, spoken word, filmmaking. And that was one of my favorite jobs that I've had. And that was my journey into being a teaching artist, right? Mm-hmm. Being and really valuing the arts and convincing young people to also value the arts. And while I was doing that work, I remember it was actually my students. They would say, "Oh, Miss Lopez, like you're a really good actor. Like you should go on TV." I'm like, me? They'd be like, "Miss Lopez, you sing really good. You should be a singer." They started telling me, and I finally realized I'm like, I have to kind of practice what I preach. So I started teaching myself really and training. Mm-hmm. And that's what actually took me to New York to get my master's in educational theater. So again, it was a theater program, which I loved, but it had a huge focus in education and using applied theater arts for purposes of working with community, which I just loved that part because it brought so much purpose to actually being an art maker. But when I went to New York, what happened was I was, trying to be still an educator, a teaching artist, but the arts just got me. Like I got recruited into a band, then I was in another band, then I was doing plays, very like off Broadway experimental movement plays. So I feel like in New York, I really became an artist. I was doing like these fun movies on the streets with my friend, and we would go back to our apartment and like edit them, and I was learning how to edit. And I'm telling you, I could only call it, I started stacking skills. I just started like learning how to film, how to edit, how to produce, how to write, how to teach, how to sing, how to record, all these different things. And I think that's when I finally realized I have all these tools in my belt now. Like I can't just leave them over there. So now even in the nonprofit work that I was doing, I would tell them like, let's edit a video to promote the nonprofit. Let's, interview these people and like, let's film it and tell their story. And I think I just love that. I love now being all of the things and using all of the things for the purposes of just delivering really powerful messages to the community, especially when it comes to representing, the youth and the communities.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So my parents popped on, Deb Robb, thank you. They said, love all these great topics. Debbie and Rob are true and authentic. So that's where I definitely see it from, is my parents always, said, shine that light and show. But, sometimes growing up too, though, I have to relate. I thought I was too much, or is, oh, you're too much, or, oh, why do you do this? And the way that we express. But here it is. I feel like now I take it as a blessing. Now I can show up. But when you're younger, you do tend to sometimes dim that light, because when someone tells you that as a child, that doesn't feel good. When you know that you have that great energy, when you know that that's not the truth. But I think sometimes the truth triggers people because they want to show up. When you talk, you can feel your joy. You feel that energy and love. And I feel like that's a big connection that we have, is how we communicate, and we're showing authentic. And we need to be able to. So maybe sometimes too, when someone's feeling like this, asking for help. I know, I think it's hard, and so many times we think we could do it. So maybe we can expand a little bit more on when you were feeling that people are trying to dim your light or doing things. Did you reach out to anybody ever? Or was there anybody that really helped you through all of this?
Oh, that is so good. And I think it's exactly what you just said, where you start to find the other people that are not that shine, that are like you, that are magnetic, that are proud to shine and proud to shine light on others. And I think that's why, I met you, and we had met, I think we just had only like met online, and then we met, and I felt like I knew you already, because I just, you would send me voice memos, and you would just be exactly what you said, shining your light. Not once did I think, oh my God, this is too much. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. Not only like were you giving me energy, but you were giving me permission to give you back some of that energy, so
Yes, definitely.
you start to find your people. And that's what I'm so grateful that I started to find my people. And it wasn't like I found you, like, help me. It was just like, I'm inspired by you. I need to be around you. And the fact that I could be myself around you and you don't judge me. In fact, the opposite, you find it hilarious. I love to find people that think I'm funny. I just oh my God, I want to be around you all the time, because I think I'm funny. But I have met some people that, like I make a little joke and they're just like, huh. I'm like, oh, you're not amused. That's okay.
And we don't have to be everybody's cup of tea, but sometimes you wonder, like, that was funny. So what, I thought it was.
Backing myself up. No reaction, really? but I think that's it. Like, and I think that happens. It's okay that it's a gradual process. And I think that's another thing that I would tell young people. It's like, it's okay if it doesn't happen, or if it takes you a little bit, but keep looking out for them. You'll spot them, you'll find each other, you'll connect, and then hold on to them. Even if you are long distance, like you can, nowadays it's so easy to keep in touch. That's one of the good things about technology, is being able to use it to keep in touch, to keep up with our people, and follow them. And so I love to keep up with people. I love to cheer people on. Like when I see people, achieving certain milestones or accomplishments, like I just genuinely get so happy, I just love to love on people. And I think that's when it's reciprocal and you feed off of each other, you just know it.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that. And, maybe we can expand a little bit with your beautiful little girl, like little things that, you would maybe tell her, or that you've started, or maybe what people can see that you've done on TV, or any book, or any things. I would love for you to just share a little bit more of like maybe what inspired you. And also, I just would love to hear a little more.
Well, my daughter, she's going to be 4, and she really
is.
She's 4. Isn't that crazy? I know.
Yes, everybody, she is like the cutest little human being.
She's really sweet. And you know what? It's kind of already happening. She's loud. She's not shy. We go to the store and she's, hi, good morning. Like, she's just very out and shining. And some people, they don't even know how to react. They're just kind of like,
I love it.
No, they're just like, oh, and it's hard because I don't want to, I'm like, oh man, like, I don't want her to feel like the rejection. And at the same time, I don't want to make her even aware that it's happening. So I just kind of, I match her energy. She's starting to say good morning. Even if people don't reply, I'll just kind of join her. I'm like, yeah, we love to say good morning. That's what we're doing. Yeah. But it's hard. I do wonder, I'm like, I know she's going to go into the age, with friends, and little frictions and tensions. And yeah, I really hope, just want to be there for her, and like let her experience all the things, because that's part of it, right? She has to experience certain things, certain feelings, certain tensions and frictions in her world. But I want her to always know that I'm always there, backing her up, supporting her. But yeah, she's such a motivation.
Yeah,
For,
that's really, really beautiful. My parents popped back on and they said, people will truly respond when you walk into a room and smile. You're right. People could be having a crazy day and most will respond. We need more of that. So, thanks, Dad.
That is wisdom. That is wisdom right there. And that's that's your dad. That's
right.
That's beautiful, because it's so true. Like, and that's something that even I have learned. I used to take it so personal when people didn't react, when people were kind of like put off by me, or they said something weird and it made me feel self-conscious or judged. And now I realize, oh man, it has nothing to do with me.
Right? It's the hardest.
And maybe if I just hold steady in what I'm doing, maybe I could bring them along for this like joyride. Like, let's like, it's not, yeah, I used to take it personal, and now I realize it's not personal. Everybody's going through their own thing. Even sometimes I'm sure I've walked into a room and been like stressed out because I almost got into a car crash or something. Right. And I was like, oh my God, I'm late, and people are like, oh my God, what is her problem? Like, we all do it, and I think that we could be mindful that it's okay. It's okay. We can actually feed into each other's energy.
Yes, 100%. And exactly. I mean, growing up too, taking it personally, or when things happened, thinking like, why are they doing it to me? But when you realize it's them doing it to everybody else, but you take it personally because you feel so strong. So growing up too, like I used to hug everyone, and my parents said, you would just run and hug. And I feel my purpose on earth is to love, is to serve, and show up that way and show others, what I got to experience. But also too, showing someone that you can be loved, because it feels so many people have been rejected of that, or, not understanding what true love is because someone's projecting their stuff onto them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, well, this has been so fun. So we have about 5-10 more minutes left. So I just wanted to have you share like maybe some of the things that you're doing, that you worked on, how they can meet up with you, just what a passion project that you are working on now, that anything that you want to share, and some maybe last good golden nuggets of advice from you, Queen.
Oh, thank you. I would love to share. So this year I launched my company. I was full-time working with nonprofits like Common Sense Media, PBS SoCal, and also doing the acting thing, auditioning a ton, and booking some little things here and there. I feel like I'm still waiting for my big break, but got to do some fun things, like did some co-stars on Papa's House and Modern Family and Goosebumps. That was really fun. That was a recurring role where I got to come on in 2 episodes. So like some fun stuff. I just love it, and to me that is like the dream, but it's just like extra. I'm just like fully open to whatever comes. And obviously, I train for it. I practice. I'm intentional about it. I have so much fun doing my auditions. Most of the auditions are here, like in a self-tape. We do our video, we send it in, and we're just like, maybe somebody will see it and think I'm right for this part. So that's fun. But I launched this company this past year. I stepped away from my full-time positions at the nonprofits, and what I'm aiming to do with this company, it's called Agua y Sol Studios.
Yeah.
It's just the word agua, water, y sol, sun. So water and sun, and I just kind of invented a word, agua y sol. I just put them together, and it's really I just love the idea of like nurturing like a plant, with like water and sun. If you just plant a little seed, like all it needs is water and sun for it to grow and bloom. And yeah, I just fell in love with this word when it came to my mind. Maybe somebody has already done it. I'm sure there's other companies already called Agua y Sol, but just fell in love with it. And I've been really lucky that I've been able to tap into my network with the nonprofits that I've worked with, and now pitched to them, like I can create content, educational content for the families that we serve. especially in early childhood education, which is the field that I've done a lot of work in. I've presented at conferences like migrant education and early child care conferences. And so now I'm creating content for them. And
Yes.
it's so much fun because I get to combine both of the things, both of my worlds, of nonprofit work in service of families with young children, and then also my experience and those skills that I've been stacking in
Yes.
producing and writing and editing and all of that fun stuff. So I get to put them all together and deliver these really fun video content that, to me, it's informational, it's educational, but I really aim for them to also be entertaining and for them to be uplifting. And recently for PBS SoCal, and Natalia got to do this with me, we developed a whole children's album. It's out on Spotify and
Yes.
Apple Music and Amazon Music. It's a whole children's album. It's 16 tracks. It's in English and in Spanish. And the whole purpose of this children's album was for children to practice early math skills.
Yes.
You might be thinking like early math skills for like 2-year-olds, like 2-year-olds.
Yes.
Yes, they do. Like 2-year-olds are doing math already, not like addition or subtraction or multiplication. They're doing the basic skills are like shapes and patterns, sorting, matching, all of that is math. And so we're singing about, fun things like going to the playground, but we're also practicing those concepts by singing about, sizes or positions, like a spatial sense, like above, below, all that is math.
Yes.
So we had so much fun working on that album, and I got to write it, I got to produce it, and then we did a whole series of music videos that were animated, but they had me singing as like kind of like Miss Rachel.
Yeah.
You guys, Miss Rachel, we're huge fans of Miss Rachel. So they were in that style, and we're doing more of those episodes now as well with that.
So how do people get a hold? What is the website or thing that they can look up so that all the listeners,
especially if you have children or children that are between 2 and 5, this is going to be their jam. On YouTube, you can look up Family Math Kids. Family Math Kids.
Family Math Kids. Perfect. Yeah. You know what? I love that because I actually found out after high school that I had a learning math disability, and I always struggled in math. And, also I've done like preschool and kindergarten, and I wish I had this. I wish we started at a young age so you can identify. I identify more for the visual aspect. So if I could see that, I think that is just brilliant. And just the passion of that, we definitely need more of it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I mean, even let me just kind of like get on my soapbox for a little bit, but like, this is so, if you're a parent or you have friends that are parents of 2 to 5-year-olds, even babies, like 0 to 5-year-olds, early math skills. Like if you think about it, when we were cavemen, before we knew how to read and write, we still knew how to do math. Like, we knew routines. We knew when the sun was that way. We knew seasons. We knew which berries to eat, which ones not to eat. We knew patterns. We knew routines. We knew spatial sense. We knew that's far. That's going to take me 2 days to walk over there.
Right.
Like we've, as a species, we've always done math. And so with young children, usually we think that and obviously reading and literacy is very important.
Yes.
But at that early age, even with like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old baby or toddler, like learning positions, right? And giving them that language for them to understand, or even routines. This is why babies thrive on routines when they know what to expect right before bedtime. Yeah. They're more calm because even though they can't speak, they already know, oh, okay, my blanket is next. Oh, okay, the book is next. Okay. They're forming patterns in their brain. And it's so important. And Elena, this is what we tell families and educators. Educators know about this, but we especially want more families to be aware, because unfortunately, it's just not a popular topic. It's not as popular as it should be, like the way that
I agree 100%.
We know we need to read to our kids, which that also helps with early math skills, but very important early math skills. We need to make that a really hot topic for parents, because early math skills, research shows that it is one of the biggest predictors of later academic success.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so important. And unfortunately, this is the problem, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're kind of in a crisis. Like the math scores by fourth grade,
Horrible.
I believe it's only like between 30 and 40% of children are proficient at their fourth grade math. And if they're already behind at that age, it's going to be that much harder for them to catch up. So we know the problem doesn't begin in the fourth grade, it begins much sooner. And so the earlier that we can be nurturing those early math concepts and language and skills, it's just so beneficial. And it's just, you're right. Like, it's just, I wish I had it, when I was younger too.
It really would have made a difference, and to have, it show up that way. So thank you for doing that. And thank you. We need more of you out there. So we have about one more minute. What is a final word or your final nugget of gem or something that you would like to end with? Anything that you would like to share, darling?
I guess just going back to the main topic of the episode is, I think lately in the past couple of years, very well-intentioned people, by the way, but they have kind of mentioned to me like, oh, like, I don't know what you do. Like, what is your brand? And I think and I've been breaking my brain because it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, like today I was focusing on just like my health or my fitness or working out, or I just was producing some or writing something, and people are going to be like, what, you're doing that now? Like, but aren't you an actress? Or when I'm acting, oh, but don't you work for a nonprofit? And I sometimes feel like if I'm not, again, fulfilling like that expectation or checking off that box that, or fitting into that box that people want me to fit in, and I've fallen, guilty of actually trying to conform. And so let's just reject, like, you don't have to be one thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the brand. Like, we are multi-hyphenate people, multifaceted people. We do lots of things, and it's okay to operate in all the things that we do and share all of those things. In fact, I think that's very inspiring. And I think it's okay to show our young people that we could be good at different things. Or maybe we don't even have to be good at everything. We can just be learning different things.
I love that. Boom. Exactly. Learning, educating, showing up. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. And that's what I love about you is you are showing your authentic self. You are showing the world who you are. And that's the beautiful thing. So thank you for being you. And thank you for how you're showing up. Everybody, this has been such a blessing. What a great show. We will definitely have you back on, my queen. Everybody, thank you for being here. I am Elana on Thursdays bi-weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, to begin raising your vibration, heart, body, mind, and soul. I'm Elana, and you can reach me at ef11ca@gmail.com, or my website is yourhealthvibes.com. And we are New Streaming Network, WGSN-DB, going solo network radio. Once again, thank you for being here. I love you all. And give one shout out, because on the 22nd, it will be my 1-year anniversary with my hubby that you were at my wedding at. So just a shout out to him. Love you, babe.
And you're amazing, Elana. You inspire me. You're incredible.
Thank you. Right back at you. It takes one to know one. So we just mirror each other.
Yes.
So, yay. Thank you all. Bye for now.